part of this Leadr podcast for me is paying it forward. I have a massive lineup of leaders that I've not only worked for, but I've admired. And I can't wait to have them all on to kind of showcase their leadership, but also to inspire future leaders. Leadership is an art. I will go down in history saying that. It is not something that can just come to anyone that wants it. I definitely think you can develop it, and there are tons of resources to develop it, but it's an art. And if you see it as anything other than that, you're going to miss. If you see it as power, you're absolutely going to miss. It's not about you, it's about them. Here are some things I want to tell you that still stick with me. One, I think I was like 23 or 24, and I was traveling the whole country. I had just graduated college. I didn't even know, I was not someone that was like traveling all the time because I had just graduated college. And I was very stressed out from the work that was being put on me for very little pay, by the way. But that was my own fault for not negotiating better. But I remember I was just having a minute, and I was also very young and immature, and I hadn't been humbled by life yet. Things weren't really hard leading up to that point. So I had my first kind of hardship, and I remember going into your office. This was with culture technology, and I was crying. Which, by the way, I've been quoted in your book, if you need to cry, go outside. That is my full belief in business. So I didn't take my own wisdom, but this was, again, back before I was humbled by life. I was crying and telling you how hard my life was, and I was tired of traveling and this, that, and the other. And you said to me very matter-of-factly, and I think it was said with empathy, but it wasn't received as such, but it has stuck with me. And you had said, you need to cut the drama out of your life. And it's funny that I just fixated on that, but that was a really telling moment to me. And honestly, it was a pivot point for me as a person. And I agreed with you. I grew up in a household of all girls, and I think we were just all highly charged individuals, and drama just came naturally. And I'm not a fan of drama personally and professionally, but I think I was young and just putting it out there and hoping that you would resolve all my issues. And you just point blank said, you need to cut the drama out of your life. So that's something that stuck with me. And I've honestly passed to several people, both personally and professionally, when they've just lived a full life of drama, they're just getting in their own way. And so that was wisdom number one that stuck with me and still is to this day. This hiring concept of hiring the gems that maybe not everyone else would see. You did that with me. You did that with several people at Culture Technology and Cardiodynamics. And I have since taken on that same role, same approach. I actually, Chris and I, my husband and I, were talking the other day in the kitchen about superpowers. And I had said, I think it's safe to say my superpower is hiring really good people. And hopefully they're all listening today. But I have this knack, the ability to just see what's not being seen. And you're right. It's fire in the belly. It's intellect, capacity, will, sheer grit, and moxie can get you there. And so I learned that from you, because you hired people that I probably wouldn't have hired just based on their resume. And then you refine and polish them like a precious gem. And they're yours for life when you do that. Right. And so that's just another thing that stuck with me, and not only stuck with me, but that's how I've been successful. If you hire the right people, you just get out of their way. You don't really need to teach them much. Last thing, and then we'll move into the end of our podcast. You, again, probably won't remember this, but so I was this young, kind of inexperienced med device rep very early in my career. And I also was very competitive. I'm the youngest of 4 girls. And so I always had to fight for the front seat. I pretty much had to fight for anything. And so I was a fighter, and she knew that about me. And so she would push me. And so every single time that the quarter would end, I was already at or above quota. And I would call her with my final. This was specifically at Cardiodynamics. I'd call her super excited. I just passed my quota for the year or whatever it might have been. And I'm ready to just go celebrate. She's like, go get one more. Always, 100% of the time. Couldn't be more annoying, but I did. I went and got one more. She was never satisfied with status quo or success or just the number. It was get one more. And so I've kind of taken that too into my leadership arsenal. And again, if people that have worked either for Rhonda or me or for both of us, they've probably heard all of this wisdom, because when you learn from someone better than you, and that's the essence of Tribe, my company, bring people in that are better than you, surround yourself with them, and by osmosis alone, you will get what they have. And if you're listening and paying attention and grabbing these nuggets of wisdom, you can apply them to your future life.